This is Marqees with the Time Rush Brain Trust, and we're reviewing Scary Movie 5. Let me just point out that I love spoof movies. I've always have. Spoof movies have been a part of my childhood as much as cartoons and video games. It started out with the Naked Gun series, starring the late great Leslie Nielsen. I've always loved the series. I love how Frank Drebin and the guys, they bumble through a case, and no matter what happened, hilarity ensued. In the end, they always save the day. My love for this spoof movie really took off when I found possibly my favorite movie of all time, Spaceballs. Written, directed, and starred in by the awesome Mel Brooks. Brooks was an equal opportunity hater, I would say. He made fun of everybody. He doesn't matter who you were, what color you were, what you did, he bust chops. But the really important thing about the Brooks franchise and his spoof movies was that they were just really well done. It was a story that had a plot, had character progression, and the character development. It was brilliant. It was a decent movie. It wasn't god awful. It wasn't. You understand what I'm saying. The Scary Movie franchise, at least the first and second one, attempted to take that to its inevitable next level. With Marlon and Shawn Wayans helping write the movie and starring in it, and having Keenan Ivory Wayans direct it really helped. Mostly because the three of those guys did a lot of sketch comedy on Living Color, and that they brought that parody, their love for parodies and love for comedy into it. However, with the third installment of Scary Movie, we lost the Wayans brothers, and and I wouldn't say it wasn't completely unfunny, but it started losing focus. The plot became more about making references into obscure things than having a story. It wasn't self-contained anymore. It was like, oh hey, this thing happened this year, so let's put this in here. Or this thing happened 2 minutes ago, let's put this in here. This continues on into the Date movie and Epic movie franchise, which we will never, ever, ever mention again on this review. Which brings us to the fifth installment of the Scary Movie franchise, which is supposedly the relaunch of the franchise. New characters, new stories, and new funny. Well, they got 2 out of 3 right. This is a pretty basic story. The synopsis is simple. Charlie Sheen, played himself, obviously, is dragged off by evil spirits after a one-night stand with Lindsay Lohan. Ugh, just the thought of that makes me sick to my stomach. And not because that's anyway. They have this whole Circus Lady deal, whatever, unfunny stuff of just really unfunny comedy, and I feel bad because Charlie's a spoof veteran. He was in Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. They were really good spoof movies. Anyway, so Charlie Sheen gets dragged up by the evil spirits. His kids get kidnapped. We could cut to the next scene where they're found by Snoop Dogg and Mac Miller playing Marcus and DeAndre, who was leading some really horrible cliche rap references, weed jokes, of course, because it's Snoop Lion in there. He smokes the weed. That's funny stuff. And a really horrible reference to the great Laurel Harley bit, Who's on First, by making it, what's that? A cabin in the woods. Cabin in the Woods, which is, by the way, another parody, another spoof they do. They joke about Cabin in the Woods. Okay, so we find the kids. The kids are, which they go in a cabin. They find the kids. The kids talk about Mama, which spoofs another movie, Mama, that came out a year before that year, 2012. But the kids are eventually adopted by Charlie's brother, played by Simon Rex, his brother Dan, and his girlfriend Jody, who's played by Ashley Tisdale. They adopt the kids. The only condition is that the kids, you have to live in the house and be filmed in the house, Charlie's old haunted house, to find out what happened or whatever. Who cares? That brings you to paranormal activity, found footage stuff, complete with gags on the frying pans dropping on people, weird stuff being thrown, and weird sounds, and people seeing weird things. The kids tell Jody that Mama doesn't like her. You know, that gets a whole thing of Mama doing weird things to Jody as she's going, she goes in her side character arc about her being the swan in the Swan Lake Ballet, which is a Black Swan reference, another movie which is not even in a correct genre for this movie. And you see where this is going. It's frustrating me, even to give the synopsis. But anyway, so we go through all the stuff. Simon Rex deals with stuff at his job, where he's working at a pharmaceutical company, trying to create a chemical to make monkeys smarter. Oh, the Planet of the Apes spoof. We continue on in this turd fest of a movie, and we find that there's some books, some ancient evil, there's more la 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 stuff. We go with different things and different spoofs on different movies, like Inception. There's a dream sequence where a Leonardo DiCaprio lookalike comes in and they jump into a dream machine to go find a little girl's dreams, because Mama comes to little girl's dreams, and they, between the random jumps of different genre spoofs, to the horrible jokes, to the even more horrible references of 50 Shades of Grey, into the cameos like Jerry O'Connell and Mike Tyson, Heather Locklear, Jasmine Guy, Usher. Why would you do this? Well, long story short, we come to the big climactic ending, which, I'm going to be honest with you, it bored me so much I fell asleep. I woke up at the end of the credits. And it wasn't because of narcolepsy. It wasn't that I do have suffered through. It wasn't because... It was because it was boring. It was boring. Let me end with this. This movie was horrible on many levels. But I found there were three main things. One, there was no character development. No real character development. You don't care about characters in these movies. When I watched Airplane, I cared about the characters. Because then I watched Spaceballs. I cared about Lone Star. What was Lone Star going to do? When I watched... there was no plot progression. As in, it just kept... Instead of plot progression, it was random joke to random obscure reference. To Honey Boo Boo reference. To... even saying those three-letter words, just... And just no and then the story was too out there. There wasn't any containment. It was just a blob of mess. There was no direction. If you want a good spoof movie, go grab any of the movies I referenced. I would I would highly recommend Hot Shots. I would have Airplane, Young Frankenstein, Robin Hood Men in Tights. These are all well done spoof movies. And Hollywood, if you're listening, please call Mel Brooks at his house. Beg him to tell you the secret of a good spoof movie. And maybe one day you can save a spoof movie franchise. We're begging you. We want funny movies. We want funny spoof movies. I like making fun of things I like. I would love a superhero spoof movie. I digress. I rate this the oxidation level will be a 1 out of 5 because this movie just stinks. Go see something else. Stop giving these people your money. This is Marquise with the Time Rush Brain Trust. I'm out.